Welcome to part two of today's Hello Port Hueneme, and continuing. This is the Mayor's Corner, and with us we have Mayor Will Berg.
Thank you, Tom.
He's back, and City Manager Rod Butler.
Hello.
And what we're going to review is a council meeting that took place on the 23rd Tuesday, I believe it was.
22nd.
22nd? Okay.
22nd.
And it was the first real meeting of the city council, as the others had a lot of
A lot of formalities, presentations, voting for this and that, and so this was our first actual council meeting with the new council already seated and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. So from soup to nuts.
Come to Jesus meeting.
Yes, yes.
Let's bear it all. So, a couple things I want to say. Overall, as people will see, it was a great meeting. The city council has changed enormously in the last 4 years. It used to be pretty rough. Not a lot of headway was made, and over the past 4 years, we've had a different influx of new people, and slowly everybody is working much better together. And I thought this meeting Tuesday night, it was fabulous in the way that all the council members worked together and tried to, emulate that. Hey, we're here to do the best we can for the citizens. There were two things I was really pleased about. One, going back 4 or 5 years ago, there were certain mayors that banged the gavel and told people that you can't talk anymore. And, I mean, the people stayed away because they heard about it and they didn't want anything to do with it. So I haven't seen any of that in a couple years. And then it was really, really nice. We have an open forum before, at the first part of the meeting, and then at the end of the meeting in case something comes up someone wants to talk about. And there is a 3-minute limit on how long people can take. And that used to be, excuse me, not used to be, it was up until Tuesday night, was enforced pretty rigorously. People would be asked to stop talking politely, but they were talking. And we had, when Will introduced it this time, he said, you are limited to 3 minutes, and unless you have a really good idea to go in, we'll go maybe 4 minutes or maybe more if it's really important. Thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you.
I think that is what, the number one thing I heard 4 years ago when I got involved was they won't listen to us. We can't communicate with them. So this is really a way to show them you're there for it.
Well, it's important. I mean, I've been up there at that 3-minute spot before myself. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And although 3 minutes is a long time, you can say a lot of things in 3 minutes, not when you're doing it for the first time,
Correct.
and perhaps not when you have notes ready to go, but you're speaking just off the cuff. It's hard. And again, I want to give people an opportunity, and if that takes a little more of our time, well, that comes with the job, I think. You just got to let people have their say. And we got to let them know that we are listening.
Right.
We're listening.
That's what they want to know, and that's what Rod and I found out about Citizen Forum. We we told them in the beginning, give us your questions and suggestions. If we can make it work, we will. If we can't, we'll tell you why. And that satisfied them as much as, hey, getting it done. Because if you don't understand, it's hard to be respectful, to wait your turn, and that type of thing. So it's really, really working. So thank you again. The first thing that it was the what's it called? I forgot. The inspiration,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
which is done before every meeting, and this one I thought was unique in that it pertained to something right here in Fort Hueneme. A lot of times it's something that happened 200 years ago or an anniversary of something. Stephen Gama gave the inspiration, and he spoke about crossing guards in Fort Hueneme. And I think we have 4.
I believe there are 4,
Yeah.
yes.
There's 4 crossing guards, and the work they do is just incredible in all the weather, and the responsibility they have is mind-blowing. And I think the reason Stephen brought it up was in the last month or two, there's been 2 crossing guards killed by cars going through intersections, and he wanted to do 2 things: have us make the citizens aware of how important it is when you come up to a school to slow down and wait till the crossing guard says you can go. And the protocol is you stop and you do not move until whoever's crossing is on the curb on the other side of the street.
Well, I understand.
And
you
until the
lower
guard,
the sign. They lower that stop sign when they hit the curb. Then you can move.
yeah.
But as long as that stop sign is being held up, you have to stay where you are.
And we had one crossing guard there who works right outside the city hall at the school, said she'll hold the sign up and people will start going by her and wave at her. You know how that apple has fallen off the tree way too early. It makes no sense. So we want to do it on this show, and I plan to do it on Port Hueneme News next door. And I'd like to have a campaign somehow initiated with the city to do this on a monthly basis, or put out something on the website continually. Send it to me, and we'll get it out there as a constant reminder, because it's a great asset we have. So,
Well, Steve even passed the hat around amongst the council members
did he?
and collected a little money.
That's right.
And the awardees, or the crossing guards, received certificates, gift certificates to Anna Cappuccinos.
Yep.
So that was fun.
Great. Yeah, they need a warm cup of coffee some of these
They
mornings
do,
we've
yes.
had lately. The first thing we had at the meeting was an open forum, and there's been a big issue in Fort Hueneme the last 6 months, and that is the smelly air and noise coming from the Oxnard wastewater plant and the new ND recycling paper plant on Perkins Road, and it borders right on the Port Hueneme Oxnard city limits. And the residents have been to the point. They have to close up their windows and doors. It used to happen maybe once every couple months. It's happening almost on a daily basis at times, many more times than they were used to, and they are becoming prisoners in their own house. Some residents have had to go to the emergency room, or they feel nauseous, or they're irritated eyes, and in the middle of the night, nothing has been smelly or noisy, they can hear it or smell it while they're asleep, and they have to get up and close all the windows and doors. So they came to the council meeting to let the city council know what was going on. And we've had other forum meetings, and there's been plenty of stuff on Next Door Port Hueneme News. The Ventura Star did a couple articles about it. The BC Reporter did one. And then, I think it was almost 2 weeks ago now, Channel 3 in Santa Barbara.
KEYT.
Oh, yeah.
KEYT came down and did a short discussion with a couple of the residents. And so the information is getting out there, and matter of fact, Channel 3 is going to do another one, because they only covered about 10% of what's really going on. And we're going to have Robert Bromberg and some people who are more technically involved describe what's going on. So they made their case, and as I said, the media and the newspapers have been doing theirs, and I was really thrilled to both your responses to them saying, yes, we know about it,
Right.
instead of, what? So I'd like to, Rod, you first, just you made some comments about it and what you are doing to help this move forward.
Yes, what I mentioned on Tuesday night is that we have appointed a kind of an in-house, we've jokingly called him the odor czar, or the odor guru, Kevin Spalding, who is the assistant city attorney. A lot of your faithful viewers have probably seen Charlie Green, who is the city attorney. Kevin is an assistant to Charlie, who works in Charlie's law firm based there in Calabasas. And Kevin's one of our rising stars. I think he's in his late 30s, and is very sharp on a lot of legal issues, including, I don't think he would call himself an environmental law expert, but he's got some knowledge and experience in that area, and he's learning a lot as well. So he will be, what I announced was, once a month, the first council meeting of every month, we will have this as kind of a running item on the agenda. Council meets first and third Mondays, usually. Every once in a while we'll get disrupted by a holiday. The first and third Monday, whatever that first meeting of the month is, Kevin and I will update the council usually a verbal update on anything that has happened regarding the odor issues. And I would even throw into it now the noise issue, because from the new Indy plant, a lot of the residents are reporting almost like a jet aircraft engine noise, which is, you know, annoying if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, which sometimes it is. So we'll throw the noise update in there as well. There may not be 5 exciting things to report every month, but we will report any progress that has happened over that previous month, and that'll be right there mentioned in public at the city council meeting. And you know, we're limited in the fact that both those facilities are in the city of Oxnard, so you know, we don't have the same kind of enforcement authority that we would have if the business was located in Port Hueneme, but we understand that it's impacting residents of Port Hueneme, so we need to try to do what we can to keep the heat on Oxnard or the Air Pollution Control District or County Health or any of our governmental partners that might be able to bring some short-term and long-term solutions to what people are experiencing.
It would be nice to know that also residents and anybody else that has any information from where they live and stuff, they can come on that first and make a statement about what's going on. And what you said about we have to have the Port Hueneme and the Oxnard officials get together, and I think we'll do that down the road. I had a meeting with the Oxnard wastewater department last week, and with the operations manager and the chief engineer, and they told me that, and they have recently put in some iron chemicals down the pipeline that are supposed to help the smell. When you try to treat the smell at the point, it's too late. The smell's already there. It's very hard to get rid of. Here they're treating it upstream as it flows down, and this is what was used in San Diego and Los Angeles, and it proved to be very effective. And they started using it last week, and we had 4 or 5 days, and I've had a couple of complaints, but 4 or 5 days where the people did not report any smell. So that may be working pretty good. The noise is as bad as the pollutants. Also, what Jan Hauser, the operation manager, told me is that the Oxnard City Council had gotten in touch with him and said, we want you to work on this ASAP, and we want you, and this meeting is set up next week, for wastewater plant and the new Indy plant officials to meet and say, because they each deny it, they each accuse the other, sort of, to sit down and figure out what's going on. And they said they would report to me what came of that meeting. We'll let it be known. And just to let people know, coming down the road, there will be sensors put out. The city of Oxnard has authorized we can use some of their property, and you and maybe Will, both of you, told Robert you can use this building we have right on the border that's up high and can direct these sensors down, and the sensors will tell us what the smells are and where they're coming from, and we can also do audios of the sound and stuff. The biggest problem we have is there are toxic chemical levels that these plants are both held to, and the key point there is toxic. What the people are smelling are not necessarily toxic. They're nuisance smells. They can make you sick, but they're not classified as a toxic. So once we get that information from the sensors, then we'll really have something that both the city of Port Hueneme and Oxnard can go and present, and then you have a legal right, and there's a thing called environmental justice that you can use to say, hey, even though there's not a law, this is not the quality of life that these people deserve. And Rod, Will, you said some stuff.
Yes.
Would you reply to that to the people?
Again, I had mentioned that in some of my other committee meetings that I did get I was in contact with the deputy city manager, and I just asked the question, just offhandedly, well, how often do you people talk about this smell down there? Are you really looking at this? And she looked at me and said, every day we are talking about this. We don't, we're on it. And if a solution could easily be found, it would have been done
Yeah,
already, I'm
yeah.
sure. We don't know what the problem is. You're right, it's got to be diagnosed. We got to find out what it is. It's obviously impacting Hueneme, but I've talked to people all the way over to Oxnard College
Right.
who have been impacted. I mean,
Wow.
this is spreading and it's getting bigger. And Oxnard is aware of it, and we've just got to cooperate and work with them, support them in any way we can as a council, as a city. We got to be able to lend them support.
The Ventura County Star did two articles the weekend that we had the community forum here. About 75 people attended, residents and non-residents, city officials from both cities, and that coverage included South Oxnard and Port Hueneme. So that was very important. It got both of the cities involved. As a matter of fact, our own cameraman, Brian Figg, reported that coming from Oxnard to here one day, maybe a month ago, let's say, he could smell a very strange smell on his way in. So the smell, depending on, we don't know what yet, can go in many directions, and it has been affected at a couple schools. The kids have smelled it, and it affects the kids playing outside. So,
The best way to think about any problem that somebody else has is the ability to put yourself in their shoes. And imagine if you were held prisoner in your own home, windows closed, when you live right near the beach,
yeah,
and you bought a retirement home or your home near the beach to take advantage of the ocean, air, what have you, and you have to close your windows and keep them closed. I can't imagine how difficult.
you're
that
right.
must be.
They moved here for that reason. Some people are even talking about selling and leaving because of it. They don't see any future. But again, that they know now that you guys care, the Oxnard City Council cares, and Robert Bromberg is working to even have a new plant that is 10 times more effective than what they have there, put in there rather than just replace and fix the old one, which would still be pretty old
It'd
stuff.
still be inadequate.
Right. And if that would be the overall long-term solution. And it doesn't cost that much more than all the repairs they want to do. So there's a lot going on in the works, and I really appreciate you guys doing it. And every month we can look forward to getting an
that
update.
update.
Yeah, okay. The next issue that came up was, and Will, you can probably tell us about this, you authorized another, the trade winds? Or,
Yes, we did
trade craft.
trade craft.
Craft,
Trade-
another dispensary, and they're doing a little bit of everything. Can you explain that?
Yeah, first of all, before I get into that, let me say that there was only one item on the consent agenda this time.
That's
Typically,
right.
there are several items on the consent agenda. These are items that are pretty much already decided. The council has the authority to pull it off the consent agenda to discuss it more, but typically, they've been decided. They were decided at a previous council meeting, what have you, and there are 4 or 5 items typically. And they're not listened to, they're just you approve the consent agenda. This time we only had one. And again, it's an important one, and that is our comprehensive water rate study and the rehiring of a company called Reftelis Consultants to help us with that project. And again, that went through very smoothly. We need to finish our water rate study program. I might mention again that we've identified in city departments over $30 million worth of infrastructure repairs that are mandatory going to be needed in the city, mostly along Channel Islands Boulevard, where pipes have not been changed out, swapped out for ever. And these are going back to the 1970s. So we're looking at 40, 45 years old on some of these pipes. We've had upwards of 13, 14 major breaks in the water system along Channel Islands Boulevard in the last year, 12 months. That's more than one a month. Fortunately, these breaks have occurred on the city side of the meter, so the city has been responsible and paid the fee. But if this happens on our side of the meter, i.e. the homeowner's side of the meter, then it's on our bill to pay. So we have to make these infrastructure repairs. Programs like this are called a CIP, a Capital Improvement Plan. And so you'll start hearing more about our CIP for this. There will be other CIPs coming up this year too, but we are growing our piggy bank in that department to affect these repairs. And that growth is going to be, growth of money is going to be called a CIP, Capital Improvement Plan. Once we get enough money to get started, then we start repairing the infrastructure there along Challenge Boulevard.
Good. We don't want to have the situation that's come up in Los Angeles where they had major breaks and major flooding.
We got to get this done. But then we got to Tradecraft. That is yet another cannabis distribution manufacturing facility. This is down on Boker Drive. It's the old racquetball court on Boker Drive, right near Challenge Boulevard. And they gave a very good presentation. Tony Stewart, our Director of Community Development, gave his presentation, and the council asked Tony quite a few questions. But then once they started getting into even more details, the applicants approached the DIs, and they also took part in this hearing. And it was very interesting, many of the points that were made, and it was quite surprising to see a couple council members actually change their point of view from initially being a bit negative and wanting to ask more questions, I need more of this, and one of them actually moved the motion for approval after listening to their presentation. I thought that was great.
Right. Very smart people. I wanted to, one last thing. The cannabis industry so far has donated $44,000 locally to local charities.
That's correct.
Which is very good. The last thing was Port Hueneme News. I did a survey from the people. What are the 5 top things you want the new city council to work on? And the results are, 1, it's almost a virtual tie between the smelly air and the budget. How do you spend our money? Okay, that's way up there. The second is traffic, which includes speeding, congestion, and traffic parking. You know, traffic is an issue on their minds.
And will always be. We are going to hire a new traffic officer. I can't tell you the date. That's Chief Andrew Salinas is taking the lead on that. But we're going to try and slow that traffic down on not Hueneme Road, Hueneme Road too, but Ventura Road in particular.
Good. The fourth thing was the beach and parks, keeping them safe and clean. And I think the new camera system that's going to be put in there, security camera system, which we'll talk about next time, is very, very
and not
important.
only that, in addition to the camera system, new LED lights.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Go out to Boker Park, or not Boker,
Miranda.
or they have their Miranda Park. They're already starting the swap out, and you'll see the difference. Kind of a yellowish light, and then all of a sudden a big bright white light coming down, and those are the new LED lights. So it's pretty neat.
The fifth most important thing, and I found it sort of interesting, was, and I think it's because recently it's become visible, and with what we had happening down at the beach, is the homeless issue.
Oh, yeah.
It's more visible. We took them out of they were moved out of the beach areas and ended up in some of the parking areas, or I even saw one in front of City Hall the other day.
Wow.
And so it's more visible, and Chief Salinas reported that they did a survey, and they came up with that there are 27 semi-regulars that are here. So those are the issues that they're interested in. I thought maybe I sent it to you guys. I can't remember.
Yes, you did.
I did? Okay, you've got it. And just keep an eye on it. And thank you both. This has been very informative, and appreciate your coming. Will, welcome as a new mayor.
Thank you, Tom.
Rod, let's go good on number 3
Yeah,
here.
that's right.
Okay.
Agree.
Thank all of you for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you. Well, in 2 weeks we'll do another Mayor's Corner, and at the end of February we'll do another Citizens Forum.
Very good.
Thank you guys very much.